Hey you guys, it's Pete Thorne. Welcome to the studio. Hey, check it out. From MALIN Amplification, these guys have been building tube amplifiers since around 2007, hand-built boutique tube amps. This is their D-type tube preamp. This is a full-on, hand-wired, point-to-point, DUMBLE-style tube preamp in a pedal. Big pedal, yes, but it's a pedal. It's got foot switches, it's a pedal. So we have here essentially full-on high voltage, no wall warts, runs off an AC cable. The idea here is you can take this and get a super high quality DUMBLE style tone into, say, a tube power amp or solid state power amp, or even take the direct out and go into like a recording interface, add some speaker simulation. You could take the output and also go right into, say, a DI box and go into a mixer with some speaker simulation for playing live. You can also run it in front of an amplifier if you want to. I did the most obvious thing and probably, I think, what would end up being the best sounding thing in this video, which is to take that output and run it straight into a good quality power amp and speaker cab. Because this for sure is something that will mate well with a power amp. You know, there's some pedals out there that people are like, is this a preamp? Is this an overdrive? This is a full-on preamp with all of the requisite kind of tone shaping and EQ and drive options in there that you would want out of a good tube preamp, and it's gonna mate well with a power amp. So I took the output and ran it right into the effect return of my Sir Hedgehog back there, which is a double style amp. It's a 26L6, you know, very American style power section. Took that output and ran it straight into there, and it sounded really, really good like that. And I think the thinking here is that, you know, if you've got this in your rig, you could take it on the road and hook it into the effect return of a, you know, Marshall or whatever's available out there. If something's got an effects loop in it, you can rent something and come out of the output there and get your tone, basically. So I'm going to play a little more through the pedal. I'm going to solo some of those parts from the song at the beginning of the video outside of the mix. And you'll get a good idea, I think, from these sound examples, what this thing sounds like, what it's capable of doing. Okay, so let's get on with it. All right. So I just cut my first guitar part in the song at the beginning of the video, which I'm enjoying, by the way. I like this little part. It's kind of David Grissom-esque. Let me show you what it sounds like. And I really like that sound. I'm really happy with it. If I turn off everything here, the overdrive circuit as well as the preamp, you'll hear that there's nothing going on. So what I'm doing right now is running my guitar into the preamp, and then I'm coming out of the preamp into the power section of this Sir Hedgehog over here. And I figured that would be a good amp to use because it's kind of dumbly. So let's turn on the preamp here. We're going to hit the green button. Get this cool green LED. Now we get some tone happening, or there's some tone shaping going on. This bright switch here on, but it's a two-position bright, so you can switch it into two different settings, and I'll show you the two different sounds. You got two brights or an off setting, and then you've got a mid boost here, just as you would find on a DUMBLE style amp. I like the sound, as with my Dumble Sir Hedgehog, I like the sound with the mid boost on. It just fills things in really nice. This jazz rock switch here, I've got switched into the jazz setting right now. I do believe actually the lower gain setting. Because that's giving me the right amount of headroom and just the right tone when I then switch in the overdrive circuit. So I'll get to that in just a second here. We've got a 3-band EQ here with the treble, the middle, and the bass. And I've got the treble on about 1:30, the mid's on about 11 o'clock, and the bass right about noon. So lots of range on the EQ there for adjustment. Before we switch in the overdrive circuit, I'll show you what happens when I just boost up the volume control here and you start getting a little bit of grind without even turning on the overdrive circuit. Okay, so I'd left that pretty clean, and I can kick the power section of the Hedgehog too by boosting the master up. This thing has a ton of output, so if I want to start distorting the power section of the amp, okay, and then turn it on the overdrive circuit, kind of the magic starts to happen. And sounds really great. And this is with a really low drive setting. I mean, the drive's on like 1030. So, as with, you know, real dumbles, there's lots of gain. If I turn it up, so now I'm going to get into playing a little bit more lead guitar in the tune and experiment, you know, with different pickups, maybe try different guitars, stuff like that. Let's see where it goes. So I also did a part where I used my Andy Wood woodshed compressor, and then I used the Mobius D-bucket chorus. So for kind of like a CE2 kind of sound, an analog chorus sound, and I doubled it. I just wanted to see if I could get a nice, super clean, compressed, you know, American kind of thing going on, and it was like no problem. So this is what that part ended up sounding like. I'm just messing around with some single coils too, and this sounds great. I think I'm going to play the last sort of solo on this guitar with some singles and get a sound. But with the drive circuit off, this sounds really great. And then when I switch it on, it's just the single notes are so fat, and it's just perfect with singles. This is with my Andy Wood compressor on, but no other pedals. So I'll turn off the compressor, hit the drive here. And then I could even hit like my Archer on top of this. Maybe add a little bit more of the drive here too. Let's see what that sounds like. Thanks for watching my video on the D-type tube preamp from MALIN Amplification. Really, really good sounding. I'm going to make one suggestion to the MALIN folks. I'm going to say, this is great as is, make it in a rack unit as well. I'm starting to feel the need to just kind of put it out there that like racks were something we had figured out way back in the 80s and the 90s. and sometimes they just make sense, and I think this in a rack preamp would make a lot of sense. You know, you've already got your Kempers, your Axe Effects, your Helix rack out there. Rack is by no means dead, and some things just make sense in a rack format. This is cool for the guys that are like the die-hard, like I want to, you know, put it on a pedal board, and you know, there's going to be users that want to do that. But I think it would make a lot of sense in a rack style preamp as well. And I know they also make a Marshall style, you know, pedal just the same as this. I would do the same thing, you know, just release it in a 19-inch rack format if possible. Really love that mid-gain rhythm sound that started out the tune, as well as the lead tones I was able to get. It sounds great with singles, with humbuckers. It's a lot of fun. So check it out further, the link down in the video description below. Please hit subscribe if you haven't hit the little bell beside the subscribe. You'll get an alert when I put out new videos. Thanks, MALIN, and thanks to all you guys for watching. I am Pete Thorne. Take care.